In the next few minutes, I'm going to expose 8 sparkling water brands hiding PFAS contamination, bacterial recalls, and safety failures behind their bubbles and health promises. Plus, I'll reveal the 5 brands that tested significantly cleaner and safer. Stay until the end, because one of the safest options had 0 detectable forever chemicals and costs less than most premium brands. Let's start with the brands you need to know about. Number 8. Bubbly Blackberry Sparkling Water. Bubbly exploded onto grocery shelves a few years ago with bright colors, playful branding, and celebrity endorsements. The cans practically smile at you from the shelf, and the marketing promised something refreshing and guilt-free. For millions of shoppers at Target, Walmart, and Kroger, Bubbly became the go-to alternative to soda. But beneath that cheerful exterior, there's a concern worth noting. Consumer Reports testing found PFAS in Bubbly Blackberry at 2.24 parts per trillion. That's lower than some of the other brands on this list, but it's still contamination in a product that shouldn't have any. PFAS doesn't wash out of your system, it accumulates. So even small amounts consumed day after day can build up over time. The frustration with Bubbly isn't just about the numbers, it's about the disconnect between what the brand promises and what testing reveals. When you crack open a can covered in smiles and sunshine, you expect it to be as clean and simple as the branding suggests. For shoppers who thought they were choosing something better, finding out their favorite bubbly drink carries traces of forever chemicals is a disappointment that's hard to swallow. Number 7. Topo Chico Natural Mineral Water. Topo Chico has become a cult favorite. Walk into any Whole Foods or trendy grocery store, and you'll see those iconic glass bottles stacked high, often right next to craft beer and kombucha. The brand has built a devoted following among people who love the aggressive carbonation and clean mineral taste. But beneath that sparkling reputation, there are some serious concerns you need to know about. According to Consumer Reports testing, Topo Chico registered PFAS levels at 9.76 parts per trillion. That's the highest reading among all the sparkling waters tested. PFAS are man-made chemicals that have earned the nickname forever chemicals because they don't break down naturally. They accumulate in your body over time, and research has linked long-term exposure to kidney problems, thyroid issues, and even increased cancer risk. For older adults who already face health challenges, that's a reason to reconsider what you're drinking every day. And the troubles don't stop there. In June 2025, Topo Chico issued a voluntary recall for certain bottles sold at select Costco locations after possible contamination with Pseudomonas aeruginosa was detected. That's a bacteria that can cause serious infections, particularly in people with weakened immune systems. For a brand that markets itself as pure mineral water, straight from the source, these findings are a sobering reminder that even premium labels aren't immune to problems. Number 6. Polar Natural Seltzer. Water Polar is one of those brands that feels like a safe bet. It's been around for generations, a New England staple that grandparents served at family gatherings, and parents still keep stocked in the fridge. The colorful cans and quirky seasonal flavors all suggest a brand you can trust. But recent testing tells a different story. Consumer Reports found PFAS levels in Polar at 6.41 parts per trillion. While that's lower than Topo Chico, it's still measurable contamination in a product that's supposed to be nothing more than carbonated water and natural flavors. For people who drink sparkling water daily, sometimes multiple cans a day, those trace amounts add up. PFAS exposure has been linked to weakened immune systems, hormone disruption, and increased cholesterol levels. What makes Polar's situation particularly frustrating is the trust people have placed in the brand. This isn't some faceless corporation. It's a company that has spent decades building a reputation on being wholesome and reliable. Yet when independent testing pulled back the curtain, Polar was right there alongside the other brands with measurable PFAS contamination. Number 5. Poland Spring Zesty Lime. Sparkling water Poland Spring is a name that's been synonymous with bottled water for decades. It's the brand you see stacked in office break rooms, handed out at marathons, and sold in every gas station from Maine to Florida. When Poland Spring expanded into sparkling water, many loyal customers followed without hesitation. But that assumption may have been misplaced. According to Consumer Reports, Poland Spring Zesty Lime Sparkling Water tested at 1.66 parts per trillion for PFAS. While that's on the lower end compared to some brands, it still represents contamination in a product marketed as pure refreshment. For families who keep cases of Poland Spring in the garage and drink it throughout the week, those trace amounts are entering bodies on a regular basis. What's particularly troubling is the brand's long-standing reputation for purity. This is a company that has spent decades positioning itself as a trusted source of clean water. Yet when independent testing examined their sparkling line, they found the same chemical fingerprints present in other mainstream brands. For shoppers who reach for Poland Spring out of habit, these findings are a wake-up call that even the most familiar names aren't automatically the safest choices. Number 4. Canada Dry Lemon Lime. Sparkling Seltzer Water Canada. Dry is a brand most Americans grew up with. For generations, it's been the ginger ale you sipped when you had an upset stomach or mixed at holiday parties. When the company launched its sparkling seltzer line, it felt like a natural extension. But trust and safety aren't always the same thing. Consumer Reports found PFAS levels in Canada Dry Lemon Lime Sparkling Seltzer at 1.24 parts per trillion. That places it among the higher results in the testing. For people who drink Canada Dry Seltzer regularly, thinking they're making a healthier choice than soda, discovering traces of forever chemicals is an unwelcome surprise. PFAS exposure has been linked to liver damage, immune system suppression, and developmental issues, and while the levels detected aren't acutely dangerous, the cumulative effect over months and years is what health experts worry about most. The disappointment with Canada Dry runs deeper than just the numbers. This is a brand that has been part of American households for over a century. It carries nostalgia, reliability, and a sense of comfort. Finding out that even this legacy brand hasn't managed to keep forever chemicals out of its sparkling water raises uncomfortable questions about the entire industry. Number 3. La Croix Natural Sparkling Water. La Croix became a cultural phenomenon. For years, it dominated social media, office refrigerators, and the hands of influencers who made drinking sparkling water look aspirational. The brand exploded in popularity, positioning itself as a healthier alternative to soda, with bold flavors and a promise of all natural ingredients. But behind the Instagram-worthy cans, there are concerns that don't fit the carefully curated image. Consumer Reports testing found PFAS in La Croix at 116 parts per trillion. While that's not the highest level detected, it's still measurable contamination in a product that markets itself as pure and natural. For the millions of people who switched from soda to La Croix, thinking they were doing something good for their bodies, this discovery feels like a betrayal. PFAS chemicals have been linked to serious health issues, including hormone disruption, high cholesterol, and increased cancer risk. What makes La Croix's situation especially frustrating is the way the brand has built its reputation. It positioned itself as the clean choice, the beverage for people who care about what they put in their bodies. Yet when independent testing examined what was really inside those colorful cans, La Croix showed traces of forever chemicals just like mainstream brands. Sometimes the trendiest option isn't the safest one. Number 2. Perrier Natural Sparkling Mineral Water. Perrier is the sparkling water that started it all for many Americans. The iconic green bottle, the French heritage, the sense that you were drinking something more sophisticated than ordinary water. For decades, Perrier has been the gold standard of sparkling mineral water, but recent years have revealed cracks in that polished image. Consumer Reports testing found PFAS in Perrier at 1.1 parts per trillion. That's relatively low compared to some brands, but it's still contamination in a product that carries a premium price tag and markets itself as pure mineral water from a protected source. And the concerns don't stop with PFAS. In April 2024, French authorities ordered the destruction of approximately 2 million bottles after bacteria of fecal origin was discovered at a Perrier production site. That's a fundamental failure in sanitation that should never happen at a facility producing water for human consumption. Adding to the troubles, a U.S. lawsuit filed in March 2024 claimed Perrier was misbranded due to allegations of spring contamination and undisclosed treatment processes. For a brand that has spent over a century building its reputation on the purity of its French springs, these accusations strike at the heart of what makes Perrier, Perrier. Number 1. Gerolsteiner, sparkling natural mineral water. Gerolsteiner is a German brand that many Americans discovered at Trader Joe's or specialty grocers. It carries the appeal of European authenticity with high mineral content and bold carbonation. But in March 2025, Gerolsteiner faced a recall that had nothing to do with water quality and everything to do with basic safety. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission announced a recall affecting approximately 61,500 bottles because the glass containers could crack, posing a laceration hazard. The recall specifically affected bottles sold at Trader Joe's, and while the company acted quickly to remove affected products from shelves, the incident raises serious questions about manufacturing standards. For older adults, a cracked glass bottle isn't just an inconvenience. It's a genuine safety hazard that could lead to cuts requiring stitches or worse. For a brand that positions itself as a premium European import, having tens of thousands of bottles recalled because they might shatter is a failure that damages trust. But not every sparkling water brand tells the same troubling story. In fact, there are options that tested significantly cleaner, giving you the refreshment you want without the concerns you don't need. Here are 5 sparkling water brands that are genuinely safer choices. 5. Sparkling ice. Black raspberry, sparkling water. When Consumer Reports ran their testing, one brand stood out for having no detectable PFAS at all. Sparkling ice black raspberry came back completely clean, a result that's increasingly rare in today's sparkling water market. For shoppers who've been worried about forever chemicals in their daily drinks, that's exactly what they've been looking for. Sparkling ice isn't marketed as premium artisanal water. You'll find it at Walmart, Target, Kroger, and just about every grocery store in America, often priced lower than many of the brands that tested poorly. What you get is carbonated water with small amounts of juice concentrates, natural flavors, a touch of sweetener in the form of sucralose, and preservatives like potassium benzoate. Some people prefer their sparkling water completely unsweetened, but for those who enjoy a hint of flavor without the sugar crash of soda, sparkling ice delivers exactly that. What makes this brand particularly appealing is the peace of mind it offers. No PFAS detected means you can drink it daily without worrying about forever chemicals accumulating in your system. Sparkling ice may not carry the prestige of a French mineral water, but it offers something more valuable: safety you can count on without breaking the bank. Spindrift Raspberry Lime. Sparkling water. Spindrift has carved out a unique space in the sparkling water market by doing something simple: using real fruit. While most brands rely on natural flavors, a term that can mean almost anything, Spindrift lists actual ingredients you recognize: carbonated water, raspberry puree, and lime juice. That's it. Consumer Reports testing found PFAS in Spindrift Raspberry Lime at just 0.99 parts per trillion, one of the lowest results in the entire study. That's not zero, but it's so minimal that it falls well below levels that raise health concerns. For people who want sparkling water that tastes like something real without worrying about chemical contamination, Spindrift offers a compelling middle ground. The flavor comes from actual fruit, which means it's subtle, refreshing, and genuinely satisfying. What's particularly appealing about Spindrift is the transparency. When a brand shows you exactly what goes into every can and backs it up with clean testing results, it builds trust in a way that vague marketing claims never can. You'll find Spindrift at Whole Foods, Target, and Kroger. Yes, it costs a bit more than the cheapest options, but for that price, you're getting real ingredients and testing results that put many pricier brands to shame. S. Pellegrino Sparkling Natural Mineral Water. S. Pellegrino is one of those brands that feels timeless. The elegant bottle, the Italian heritage, the way it's served at restaurants as if it's something special. For over a century, S. Pellegrino has been synonymous with quality sparkling mineral water. And unlike some legacy brands that have quietly declined, this one has managed to maintain its standards. Consumer Reports testing found PFAS in S. Pellegrino at just 0.31 parts per trillion, placing it among the lowest results in the study. The ingredient list is wonderfully simple: carbonated mineral water. That's all. No added flavors, no sweeteners, no additives, just water with naturally occurring minerals and carbonation. What sets S. Pellegrino apart is the consistency. This is a brand that has been doing the same thing the same way for generations. The taste is clean, the carbonation is gentle, and the mineral content gives it a subtle complexity that plain seltzer lacks. You'll find it everywhere from Walmart to Costco to fine dining restaurants. For older adults who remember when quality actually meant something, S. Pellegrino is a reassuring reminder that some brands still get it right. Dasani Sparkling Black Cherry. Dasani doesn't always get the respect it deserves in the sparkling water conversation. As a Coca-Cola product, it's sometimes dismissed as just another corporate offering. But when it comes to safety, Dasani Sparkling has earned its place among the better choices. Consumer Reports testing found PFAS at just 0.37 parts per trillion, one of the lowest levels detected. What you get with Dasani Sparkling is straightforward: carbonated water and natural flavors. It's unsweetened, 0 calories, and free from the chemical contamination concerns that plague some of the trendier brands. You'll find it everywhere, from Walmart and Target to gas stations and vending machines, making it one of the most accessible clean options available. The appeal of Dasani Sparkling isn't about prestige or Instagram-worthy packaging. It's about reliability. When testing shows low PFAS levels and the ingredient list is short and simple, that's what matters most. Sometimes the most practical option is also one of the safest. Schweppes Lemon Lime Sparkling Water Beverage. Schweppes is another legacy brand that most Americans grew up with. Known primarily for ginger ale and tonic water, Schweppes brought that same heritage to its sparkling water line. Consumer Reports testing found PFAS at just 0.58 parts per trillion, placing Schweppes among the cleanest options tested. The ingredient list for Schweppes Lemon Lime Sparkling Water is refreshingly simple: carbonated water and natural flavors. No sweeteners, no calories, no unnecessary additives. Just clean sparkling water with a hint of lemon and lime that makes it more interesting than plain seltzer. For people who want something flavorful but don't want sugar or artificial sweeteners, Schweppes offers a solid middle ground. What makes Schweppes particularly appealing is the combination of low PFAS levels, wide availability, and affordability. You'll find it at virtually every grocery store, drugstore, and convenience store in America. For older adults who value consistency and don't want to gamble on unfamiliar options, Schweppes represents a safe bet backed by decades of experience and recent testing that confirms it's doing things right. At the end of the day, sparkling water should be simple: carbonation, maybe some flavor, and nothing you need to worry about. But as testing has revealed, not all brands deliver on that promise. Some of the most popular names carry contamination that builds up in your body over time, while others have faced recalls that should never have happened. The good news is that safer options exist, and now you know which ones to reach for. Next time you're standing in the sparkling water aisle, you'll be able to make choices that protect your health without sacrificing refreshment. If this video helped you make better decisions at the grocery store, consider subscribing for more content that puts your well-being first.